All praise belongs to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, Lord of the worlds, Master on the Day of Judgment. May peace and salutations be on our beloved leader and guide, Sayyiduna Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Just as we prepare for different aspects in our life, like a learner in a school, in a madrasa, in a university, prepares for his examination, in the same way, a businessman who prepares for end of the month, that is, he stocks up enough and adequately, as well as this time of the year. In the same way, as Muslims, we should prepare adequately for the day of Friday, that is Jummah. And the day of Jummah, we find it every week, so we should prepare adequately for this day. And when we prepare adequately for this day of Jummah, it will be part of our life, and we will reap and unlock from the virtues that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has got in store for us. And in this afternoon's discourse, we will do a step-by-step preparation for the day of Jummah, so that we can take from the bounties of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and all this will be in light of the Quran and the ahadith of Sayyiduna Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "We, the Muslims, are the last to come, that will be the foremost on the day of resurrection. Through the former nations were given the holy scriptures before us. And this was their day, Friday, the celebration of which was made compulsory for them, but they differed about it. So Allah wa Ta'ala gave us the guidance for it, that is Friday, and the other people are behind us in this respect. The Jews' holy day is tomorrow, Saturday, and the Christians, the day after tomorrow, that is Sunday." And this hadith is mentioned in Bukhari Sharif. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, of all the days, Friday is the most virtuous. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says in another hadith, the best day on which the sun has risen is Friday. On it, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala created Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. On it, he was made to enter paradise, and on it, he was expelled from it. And the last hour will take place on no other day than Friday. Sayyiduna Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Whoever recites Surah Hamim on the night of Jummah, that is Thursday night, then his sins will be forgiven." And this virtue is not only on the day of Jummah, but every day. If a person recites Surah Hamim in the 25th juz of the Quran, all his sins are forgiven. And when they talk about sins, it refers to all the minor sins are forgiven of a believer. So when the adhan is called out on a Thursday night, that heralds the beginning of Jummah. So that is how we begin the day of Jummah, by performing the Maghrib Salah with Jummah in a masjid. Thereafter, we recite Surah Hamim al-Dukhan, as well as another surah which should be a daily routine in our life, that is Surah Waqi'ah. And the benefit and virtue of that is that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will save us from poverty. Then we go on to the next aspect of sending durood upon Sayyiduna Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala makes mention in the verse of the Quran, "Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala and His angels call down blessings on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and He says, "O you who believe, call down or send down blessings on him and ask for complete peace and safety for him." That is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had mentioned in a hadith, "Man salla alayya wahidatan, sallallahu alayhi ashara." That person who sends salutations and durood upon Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he gets rewarded 10 times. And whenever a person sends durood and salutations upon Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, an angel is deputed to take this durood and salutations to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his Mubarak grave in Medina Munawwara. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had said, "He who sends 1,000 durood upon me on a Friday, that is from Thursday after Maghrib until Friday before the sun sets, will not leave until he sees his abode in Jannah." Subhanallah. So there are many duroods that a person can recite on the day of Jummah, and one such durood is Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi alfa marra, or any other durood that we know, and the shortest durood is sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And by virtue of reciting durood in abundance, especially on the day of Jumu'ah, then we will not pass away until we see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in our dream. And also we will see our abode in Jannah in our dream as well. Whoever recites 100 durood, that is any durood after the Maghrib Salah on Thursday, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will fulfill 30 of his needs in this world and 70 in the year after. So we need to make an effort that we send salutations and durood upon Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And like we mentioned earlier, we're going to show you a step-by-step plan how to prepare for the day of Jumu'ah. So we must make it part of our routine on a Thursday night in sending abundance of durood upon Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sayyiduna Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu stated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "The nearest people to me on the day of Qiyamah will be the one who blesses me the most." So if you want to be with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and side by side, then send abundance of durood to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and not only on the day of Jumu'ah, but every day of the week. And whenever we are in any kind of difficulty or any problem in our life, send abundance of durood, because this is a way to remove all the difficulties and the challenges that we face. And we commonly tell the learners who are studying, okay, I know now they are done with the examinations, and may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala make them all successful. But this for future, those that are going to be writing exams, whether learning in a school, a madrasa, or in a university, or a person who's enhancing his career, and while you are there in the examination room and you forget whatever you had learned, and you are, blank at that time, just send durood upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we will find that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will make you remember whatever you have forgotten, and you will, write correctly in your exam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had mentioned he who recites Surah Al-Kahf on a Friday, Allah Ta'ala will provide him light from one Friday to the next Friday. So we should make it part of our routine, whether it's Thursday after the Maghrib Salah, or any time thereafter, or on the day of Jummah, wherever or whenever we get the time, or we should make time rather, to recite Surah Al-Kahf, to have the special light that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam makes mention of. And by virtue of the special light that we will get, it will protect us as well as save us from involving ourselves in any kind of wrongdoing or any kind of sin. So as parents and caregivers, let us instill this habit in our children in reciting Surah Al-Kahf on the day of Jummah. And when this becomes part of their Friday routine, they will not forego it and let it pass, because it is part of special light and nur that a person will receive from Allah Ta'ala. And then on the day of Jummah, what should we do to prepare for it? We had made mention of Surah Duha. We had made mention of sending abundance of durood to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as reciting Surah Al-Kahf. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said, "Indeed, the bath taken on Friday removes sins even to the extent of removing them from the roots of your hair." So when we take that ghusl and the bath on the day of Jummah, let us have this in our minds and in our hearts, that I'm doing this following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all my sins will be forgiven and removed by Allah Ta'ala. And then when we proceed and come to the venue where we are going to be performing the Jumu'ah Salah, it is mentioned in a hadith that that person who takes every step walking to the masjid, those that are staying close by, or even those that have, wherever they have parked their vehicles, and from that spot walking towards the masjid, every step they will take, they will get the reward of 1 year of fasting. Subhanallah. So when we come to the masjid walking or from our vehicle, from next week onwards, this, remember that every step that I'm taking, I'm going to get 1 year of reward of fasting from Allah Ta'ala. Sayyiduna Jabir radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a jubbah, that is a robe or long garment, that is what we will call a thob or kurta, that he would wear especially on the days of Eid and the day of Jummah. So let us set aside some type of clothing, even if it's not a kurta, whatever kind of garment, that this is specially for the day of Jummah. And if we do that, then we are going to be rewarded, and we are emulating the life of Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, on Friday, the angels stand at the door of the masjid and note down in order of arrival the names of those who come early. When the imam proceeds towards the pulpit, the angels roll up their scrolls and listen to the khutbah. So this is the reward of coming early to the masjid, that the angels will note down our names, and as soon as the imam proceeds to the pulpit, to the mimbar, then the angels stop writing the names. Even though we are here, but we are not present in the register of the angels. And then, when the khutbah commences, we should remain silent in light of the hadith wherein Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if anyone of you says to your companion, listen attentively on a Friday, that is with regards to the khutbah, then you have engaged in idle speech. So if a person stops a person from talking while the khutbah is being delivered, then he is involving himself in idle speech. So that shows us the importance of listening to the khutbah, which is in Arabic, even we don't understand it. And we're going to get rewarded by Allah wa ta'ala, and we will not be amongst those who involve ourselves in idle speech. And previously I was here, I think 2 years ago in this masjid, and a few weeks ago in another masjid recently in Johannesburg South. And I would like to commend the congregants of this masjid that when the khutbah was being delivered, there was total silence. And continue with this good action of being silent when the khutbah is being delivered. And just to make you understand how important the Jummah khutbah is, that a person cannot recite Quran at that time, the person cannot perform salah at that time, the person cannot make the dhikr or send durood upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as making dua. This is according to the Hanafi madhab. According to the other madhahib, there is a difference of opinion, so you continue doing whatever you need to do. But according to the Hanafi madhab, at that time, you need to remain quiet and remain silent. So if a good action is prohibited at the time when the khutbah is being delivered, then how bad is it if a person is talking to someone or telling someone to remain silent? Or nowadays we got the sickness of playing on our phones or responding to messages at that time. And once the khutbah is completed, we should remain silent also and wait for the first salah to commence. Once the first salah is completed, the dua is made, and at that time, not only on the day of Jummah, but after every obligatory and first salah, when the dua is made, dua is accepted by Allah wa ta'ala. So let us say Ameen to the dua, and whatever dua we want to make after the Imam has concluded, then make that dua in hope that my dua is going definitely be accepted by Allah wa ta'ala. And thereafter, the 4 sunnah and the 2 sunnah after the dua, we should be performing it because it is sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The 4 sunnah is sunnah muakkada. The 2 sunnah after that is ghair muakkada, meaning sunnah muakkada, those sunnah that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam always performed and never left out. And the ghair muakkada are those sunnah or sunan that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left out sometimes in his life. And thereafter, when we proceed home, or many of us will go to the workplace or to our businesses, and we are going to partake of that meal. That was the sunnah of the Sahaba ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, to partake of the lunch after the Jummah Salah. So now when we going to be eating our lunch after the Jummah Salah, let us do it with the hope of intention of following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also a habit of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, many of us may be unable to do this, to sleep in the afternoons, which is called Qailullah, and we will get rewarded by Allah wa ta'ala, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if you cannot sleep, just close your eyes in emulating the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we will be rewarded. And the last part on the day of Jummah, that is come early to the masjid, or if you are unable to go to the masjid, dedicate some time in making dua to Allah wa ta'ala, because at that time it is blessed time when du'as are accepted by Allah wa ta'ala. May Allah wa ta'ala grant us the true understanding of what has been said, to practice righteous deeds and to prepare adequately for the day of Jummah. Ameen wa ma alayna illa al-balagh.